Hello and welcome back to another episode of Chris's Secret Podcast. I am impressed that you found it. On this week's episode, I am doing the final part of my 4-part series where I've been documenting my process of having one of my tenants that's been in one of my properties for a little over 2 years. They moved out, and so I went there and looked at it right before they moved out, gave the tenant and the cosigner a list of things that needed to get fixed. They then fixed some of the things, but not all the things. So I've been documenting my process of getting it up and running. And so on this episode, I want to recap all of the costs that I incurred while trying to get this place back up and running into a rentable condition, and then talk about how I went about letting the cosigner know and tenant know that I would not be refunding them any of their security deposit, which is the worst part about being a landlord, is not being able to give somebody their security deposit back, because it sucks for them because they're like, I want my money back, and I totally get that. When I was a renter, I also wanted my money back when I moved out, and it also sucks for me because I then had to do a bunch of work to get the place back up and running and spend a bunch of money to get back up and running that I didn't want to do. So it's just bad all around. All parties don't enjoy the security deposit portion of being a renter-landlord relationship. But anyways, without further ado, let me jump into and kind of talk about the process, and stick around until the end when I give my exact numbers on how much it cost me. And then also I will let you listen to my phone call with the cosigner, explaining to him after he threatened to take me to court for not giving back the money. And yes, the dude was kind of a big-time lawyer, so I was a little intimidated, but stick around so you can listen to the phone call that I had with him, explaining why I will not be giving him any of the money back. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So first things first, talking about kind of the process. You all saw the process of me walking through, seeing it destroyed, or not destroyed, but seeing the condition of it, and then trying to get it back up and running. I documented everything throughout the process, obviously with videos to do this, but more importantly, photos. I always take before photos that I make sure and I do like a walkthrough with the tenants when they're moving in, take a million photos of the property so that we both know what the condition was when they moved in. And then when I moved out, I took a million photos as well, just showing what the quality of the property was when they moved out of it, which obviously wasn't like it was when I gave it to them. After documenting the photos, I went through and started renovating it, or getting it back up and running, cleaning it up and painting it and just removing trash and all that fun stuff. And throughout that process, obviously documenting it with photos, and then also keeping receipts of everything I did. All right. So when I finally got done, I then sent an email to the cosigner and tenants, everybody that was on the lease, letting them know, hey, I regret to inform you, but I will be withholding the full security deposit, and showing before and after photos. So I'm actually going to show you the exact report that I emailed to them. And this was actually even before I had officially finished everything up on the property, but I knew that I was only going to have probably another like $500 to $1,000 of like renovation costs when I sent this documentation, but I was already exceeded the security deposit that they had given me when they moved in. So I was like, well, I'll just put this together rather than like prolonging this and wasting my time. Also, I was kind of like not stressing about sending this, but I just like wanted to get it off my chest. So anyways, this, you can see my screen now. This is the exact documentation that I put together to send to them to show why they're not getting in their security deposit back, because I want to make it as transparent as possible so they know. So you can see here, also, gotta love ChatGPT nowadays. Like, you can just throw in, like, I kind of like chicken scratch typed out what I wanted, threw it into ChatGPT so that ChatGPT could clean it up and make it sound nice and professional. But basically, I'm showing, hey, here's what the driveway looked like when I gave it to them, and then this is what it looked like when they moved out. Also, I showed in the lease agreement that they were responsible for cutting grass and killing weeds in the driveway, which they almost never would cut the grass. Every time I'd go over there, I think I told this in an earlier episode, but they like never cut the grass. It was always a disaster. So needless to say, the whole driveway turned into a parking lot. And so you can see in the lease agreement, me explaining that they are responsible for this. I then showed a quote for what it's going to cost to get new gravel put down, which was freaking over $1,200. And then I also showed the quote of what I got for a guy to do the labor. He quoted me $700. He kind of gypped me a little bit. At the end, it ended up costing me $800 because he sprayed Roundup the day that he pulled out all the weeds. Yeah, it was like a whole thing. So I like kind of went back and forth with him on it. Honestly, end of the day, $800 for this, it's a massive driveway. It still was a great deal, so I didn't like worry about it too much. But it's just annoying when contractors like try and pull a fast one on you. Like, we're an idiot. So unfortunately, he's not going to get me as a client again, which is a bummer. But needless to say, going through excessive cleaning. I didn't even charge them for my time and my wife's time for actually cleaning this place. In future leases, I actually put in there that my time, I charge $25 an hour for me to do the labor, because if I would have hired a cleaning crew to go through and clean this place, they would have charged more than $25 an hour. So, and my hourly rate for my like normal W-2 job is significantly higher than $25 an hour. So it's actually a discount having me do the work for them. So, and once again, I always try and keep these things under the like security deposit, and if I can, great. But this is just me showing what the conditions of it. These are like photos from the move-in inspection, and then these are photos of how they left it. Just a complete disaster. Not a complete disaster, I shouldn't say that. Just filthy and gross. Just leaving trash behind and leaving things stained and nasty. Crumbs all over everything. This was also annoying. I mean, right here, it's kind of hard to see in these photos. I think I took a better photo. Here you go. If you don't know what that is, that's like a little like Juul charger right there for like a little vape. Which my property and in my lease, it says that if I find any remnants or any evidence of potential smoking in my properties, you immediately and automatically lose your security deposit in full. So just this one little evidence of, and there's also like lighters and stuff always around. It's very obvious that they smoked there. I didn't really care if they would have left the place nice, but when they leave it a disaster, I care. But yeah, just this one evidence of them smoking in the place, I didn't even need to do all of this. I could have just said, hey, evidence of y'all smoking, you don't get the security deposit back. But I wouldn't normally do that because the place didn't smell necessarily like a bunch of smoke, and this is like a vape, so a little different. And once again, my security deposit says if you're vaping or smoking, you lose your security deposit in full. But nevertheless, just wanted to like show that as well, since the co-signer was a lawyer. Wanted to make sure I was dotting all my I's and crossing all my T's here. So this is just showing like ample amounts of like dog hair. It was gross. Toilet not cleaned at all. They claim they got a professional cleaner to go through there. And I told him, I was like, look, straight up, this place was filthy when I came in. You should definitely try and get your money back for that cleaner that you paid. You'll hear in the phone call. My assumption is that they didn't actually pay for a cleaner. They just said it just to try and be like, whoa, what was me? But anyways, if they did pay for a cleaner, get your money back because they didn't do a good job. Then trash removal. This is what the backyard and what the little like shed area looked like when they moved in. They left pallets there. They left like a bed frame and like a gas tank. And so this is just me showing like I had to fill the entire trash can up and like bring everything out to the road. Once again, I did this for free. And actually, I didn't even think about calculating this. I also had to pay somebody to haul away these pallets because for some reason the city wouldn't take the pallets, and I listed them on Facebook Marketplace. Nobody wanted them because they're just like old trashy pallets. So I actually forgot to calculate that into my my final numbers when I give you my final estimations or final numbers of how much it costs to get this place back up and running. But anyways, yes, that was annoying. If I would have paid somebody to go there and take away all this trash, it would have been even more expensive for them. So they are welcome for me not doing that. Wall damage. This is just showing what the walls looked like before they moved in. Nice and clean. After they moved out, just, a million holes. Once again, if there's like one or two holes, I'm not going to be too upset. If there's going to be like one or two scuff marks, I'm not going to be that upset. But when the whole house is just all sorts of like beat up, it's annoying. So that's just showing all of that, and I had to go and buy like caulk and putty and paint and primer and all that fun stuff and get the place cleaned up. This is what the backyard looked like when they moved in. When they moved out, they had two dogs, and this is me showing like a dog toy. The dogs were clearly just back there like burying toys and stuff and digging up the whole yard. So I had to also buy a bunch of dirt or topsoil and grass seed and fill all these holes and throw down grass seed. Once again, I did all the labor, which because this is not like that difficult, but once again, is very annoying. In one of the videos I showed, they like buried logs in the backyard, so I had to get that dug up and put down that as well. So, or put down the dirt. Lock repair. I know in one of the videos I said like, oh, I don't think this is like on them. After looking at the lock more, it was clearly just destroyed and it was in working order when I got it. And these locks, automatic keypads, are pretty expensive, so pretty annoying. Once again, also I'm pretty I'll fix things immediately for my tenants if they hit me up throughout the process of their like time that they're there. I've tenants all the time that hit me up like, hey, the lock doesn't work, whatever. I'll fix it on me. But if you're just going to kind of leave the place a disaster and everything's going to pile up when I get there. So I did end up charging them for this lock as well. Refrigerator. This is just photos of what the refrigerator looked like when they moved in. This is what the refrigerator looked like when they moved out. Completely filthy with dog hair. Top completely disgusting. Dead bugs on top, nasty stuff. Broke both of the drawers, which like it's just so annoying. Clearly not cleaned either. The seal to keep the thing airtight completely ruined and destroyed. And you'll hear on the phone call, it just irks me when people just say things. And I don't like, I totally love these tenants, and I honestly really like the co-signer as well. And he's just sticking up for his son, I think. Like, he's not, I have no ill will, but like he was trying to tell me that this just like destroyed drawers, filthy, it just ripped. Seems like, I mean, this fridge is unusable, so I actually ended up buying a new fridge for my new tenants. And so he was trying to tell me that this is like normal wear and tear. And I was like, dude, this is not normal wear and tear. I don't know what to tell you. I would love to see, like, it's not normal wear and tear. So anyways, this is me showing that there used to be a working remote for this mini split. Mini split, once again, filthy disgusting. Don't know who the cleaner was, but get your money back. And the mini split was broke. This is just me showing the receipts for all of, door locks, primer, paint. I blocked out the receipt, obviously, since it has my information on it. But it shows the receipts for buying the new mini split remote, buying primer, paint, locks, cleaning supplies, everything. So it has all that totaling up to $500. And then just another receipt. And so this is at the time of me sending this report, I had spent over $2,500. And their security deposit was just over $2,000, so it was at a $552.40 deficit. So in total, the cost of getting the place up and running and ready for somebody to move in was $3,096.55. Their security deposit, once again, was $2,025. And the total deficit, so total money out of my pocket beyond just like normal wear and tear of getting the place like ready, was I had a deficit of $1,071.55. So once again, and also given that it was $1,000 deficit, I wasn't going to go after them in court for really two main reasons, three reasons. One, it's very time consuming to go through that whole process, so I didn't really want to do it. Two, the number wasn't quite, I mean, $1,000 is expensive, but the number wasn't quite large enough to go through like the whole headaches and everything of, and like, I mean, in legal fees, I probably would have paid more than that, just to try and fight and get that $1,000 back. And three, maybe the biggest reason is that the cosigner was like a very, very big time lawyer. So I was like, I'm not going to pay for a lawyer to go after $1,000. So me going up against a lawyer, although honestly, with all my evidence, I probably could have won in court pretty easily, but I was just like, I don't want to go through the fighting with a lawyer. So if the number would have been a larger deficit, I definitely would have considered going after them. If they didn't have that handyman come over and fix up the issues when I first walked through, I definitely would have gone after them in court. And then also, once again, if you're trying to get into real estate investing, it ended up costing me just over $3,000 to get this done. That's because me and my wife were doing 99% of the labor. The only thing we didn't do was the driveway, because that would have been so much work without like having the proper like bobcat and other equipment. So I didn't do that. But if I would have hired a handyman or something to go and fix and paint and do all that fun stuff, and a landscaper to do the yard, I mean, this number would have doubled easily. So with all that said, if you're trying to get into real estate investing, just try and figure out how to do the work yourself, because like these numbers can get really expensive really quickly if you're hiring out the labor. So now I sent them that email that I was talking about before, just explaining, hey, you're in a deficit, you're not receiving your security deposit back. And so the cosigner emailed back in like stern lawyer tone, saying essentially like, I want to dispute your assessment of the security deposit. The refrigerator was just normal wear and tear. We hired a cleaning crew, so that the cleaning was just an excess. Once again, I didn't charge them for my cleaning like time. I just charged them for the materials I needed to buy to clean it, which was like just chemicals and whatnot. And then he was like, so please recalculate and send me the new difference and send us back the remaining amount of the security deposit. And I was like, this mofo. So as soon as he emailed that back, I called him immediately at his office, which is the phone call I'm about to let you listen to right now, and confronted him on the phone, explaining that he would not be receiving any security deposit back. And so he claims that he was confused and thought that I was going after them for the deficit, which I really should have, but it wasn't worth the time, especially with them being fussy about this to begin with. And so you'll get to hear that phone call right now and how I handled this situation, and then I'll recap the kind of conversation after you listen to it. Hey, this is Chris. I was past landlord. I was calling to speak to him.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me see if he's available.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Hey, I just saw your email. Figured I'd call you before sending back an email just to connect real quick and see how you wanted to proceed. I'm happy to do whatever you want me to. Basically, in short, I wasn't planning to go through small claims courts to get the deficit. I was just unfortunately going to eat the cost of getting this place back into a rentable condition. As far as resurfacing goes, I had a couple different like Bobcat guys that do gravel driveways come out, and because originally I was hoping that it would be something where we could just pick the grass, but after seeing the amount and them seeing the amount, each one, I mean, I got some pretty massive quotes originally that I didn't want to do. The best one I got was from a guy that said he would come and like dig it up, have his team pick out all the grass, and then like re-level it with new gravel on top. If y'all want to come and try and pick out the grass, I truly think that would be a very, very, very long activity. But I'm more than happy to do that. Or if you have better connections in town that you want me to shop and find better rates with, I'm happy to. But $700 was the best that I was able to find for the driveway for that. And then as far as new gravel, just to resurface that entire parking area after digging it up, that was the best I could find. Once again, I'm more than happy to shop rates with anybody else and see what I can do, just to get it back into the condition it was given in. As far as the refrigerator, once again, I didn't even include that price in my my security like kind of deposit report because I haven't gotten around to fixing that yet. I wasn't going to charge them for the refrigerator. I was just putting it in the report because obviously I gave it to them in a working condition with no broken drawers and no ripped, I don't even know what that piece is called. But I wasn't going to charge for that. But once again, if you have people in town or you know someone has an extra fridge, I will happily take it because it's been pretty expensive endeavor getting this thing back to a condition that, you know, is rentable. And then I think those are the only two things I saw on your email. I wasn't planning, once again, to take them to small claims court. I was just giving you the information as far as the deficit we're already at. I was just going to show you and give you receipts of proof of purchases for redoing the driveway and getting a new fridge. I wasn't planning on charging for those things. Obviously, I would love to have the money if you were feeling so generous, but I wasn't planning or expecting to have you pay for those things. Although it will be going over and above what that security deposit was.
Okay, well then I misread your email. I understand. Yeah, fair enough. We spend an awful lot of money. It obviously not to the extent that I guess we should have, but doing some repairs and cleaning. We did not move the surfaces and clean them behind, and obviously I guess the cleaning people should have done that. They didn't, and we paid them over $600.
Did you hire a professional cleaning crew?
Oh yeah, yes we did. Well, I mean, I guess professional. I can't remember where my wife found it, but they charged our credit card $660. We tried to do a lot, but we had somebody go over there and mow the yard and clean that up. I mean, again, I realized it wasn't in rentable condition, but it was as much as we could possibly do to get it in at least somewhat of a better condition.
Yeah.
So
I do appreciate that because when I went there, I mean, I think I called and left a voicemail. I don't think we ended up talking, but when I came over here prior to the lease officially ending, I was very worried because it was a far way away. It still ended up costing. I mean, it's probably going to cost a lot to get it back where it needs to be. I tried to do as much of it myself. I was trying to be able to get something back to you all. The driveway is just and that's not even because I'm eating the cost to do the turn because I wasn't considering that part of their
security deposit, it was just to get the weeds out of the driveway and get it back to where it was at. Once again, I will also happily, if you have contacts, especially for gravel and driveway, I will happily reshop. I just shopped a few, and those are the best rates I was coming up with. But yeah, I want to get it in a shape that, once again, that like the condition that I gave, what you would feel comfortable letting him rent it for, I need to do that for the next party. And I will say the cleaning, I don't know who you paid to do it, but it was pretty gross, and I would try and get some of your money back if you paid $600, because it was pretty darn gross. But obviously my wife and I did all that ourselves. So, I didn't hire a crew out there, just once again I was trying my best to get it under the security deposit, because this is the worst part about being a landlord, and I couldn't even come close.
Well, fair enough. Well, I appreciate the call, and we don't have any real. I guess we don't have it. We're not going to contest your retention of the security deposit. I didn't know some of these things were as bad as they were, but I also think that some of them are wear and tear, and it's, I'm not happy with the way it all happened. But we tried to get it up to as good as condition as possible, and it took us 60 days. I think my wife got that. You are done. The cleaning I mentioned to you. She used her handyman guy. He did a bunch of stuff that I think improved things, or at least fixed things. So I can't explain the mini split remote. I asked about that, and he said it worked when the last time he used it, but I just don't know what to say about that. Oh, that's okay. I appreciate the phone call. But good luck to you. It was nice to work with you too.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I mean, once again, it was a pleasure written to. I do wish him the best, and I wish I was able to get it. I was hoping I could keep it under the security deposit, but it was a lot. It was a lot of little things. But normally with me doing the renovations and repairs myself, it's typically just supply costs. But I couldn't get it all underneath it, unfortunately. So yeah, I do apologize. I was hoping I could get it there, but. Once again, I do appreciate you.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, call me if I can ever help you, Chris, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just reply to your email just saying, hey, I'm not planning to go to Small Claims Court. I'm not planning to go after any deficit, just so that you have it in writing.
Okay, I appreciate that. Have a great night. Good.
All right, have a good one. Bye.
All right, cool. So there you go. That was my conversation with the co-signer. Definitely when I was calling, it was a little nerve-wracking. Normally when I have these conversations, I'm not too nervous about them. But given that it was like a very big-time lawyer, it just made it a little bit scarier. But really, end of the day, I mean, as you could tell, I feel like people are just nervous of confrontation. So once we had that conversation, got everything straightened away, all ended up going smoothly. It wasn't, anything too big of an issue. Once again, have no ill will for any of those tenants that were living in my place or the cosigner or anything like that. Honestly, really enjoyed having them in the unit. I just wish the place would have been taken care of a little better, especially the driveway. That was the biggest thing. That really cost a lot of money and could have been avoided if they would have just been cutting the grass and spraying some Roundup every few months. Like, really not that hard to maintain if you just stay on top of it. So anywho, with all that said, appreciate y'all tuning in to this week's episode. I like doing these episodes, just showing you what it's actually like being a landlord, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so with all that said, figure out some ways to make some money doing what you love so you don't feel like a working day in your life. And with all that said, peace out, y'all.